Of the following program may be pre-recorded.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Living Healthy and Aging Well. My name is Ken Haglund, and we are broadcasting live from the AM 950 radio station that overlooks Bryant Lake Regional Park, located in Eden Prairie, Minnesota. It is another beautiful day here in the Twin Cities. I am so grateful to be here with you today, and I hope all of you listening are doing well. We are on the air every Saturday from noon to 1 to talk about your health and your life. We cover a wide range of topics to help you and your loved ones improve and enjoy your quality of life. We have another great show for you today. Joining me in a few minutes will be Jenny Matthews, a licensed mental health therapist and owner of State of Mind Therapy, located here in the Twin Cities. And she will be sharing how a fear of flying can limit opportunities for travel, connection, and meaningful life experiences. Jenny specializes in working with anxiety disorders, OCD, and phobias, helping people break free from cycles of worry, panic, and avoidance. Drawing from both her clinical work and personal experience with flight anxiety, she shares why this fear is so common and what actually drives it beyond concerns about safety, and why many people feel stuck even when they logically know flying is safe. All right, this will be a great show. This is the first time we've had someone on the show that'll talk about this topic, so I'm really excited about this. I want to thank all of you that leave us messages on our radio show phone line. We appreciate hearing from you, and we welcome your comments, questions, and topics, of course, for future shows. Also, if you are interested in being a guest on our radio show, please call or text us at 612-999-3426. You can also contact us on our website at livinghealthyradio.com. There you can find information about upcoming guests as well as listen to our previous shows, and we look forward to hearing from you. We are adding new listeners to the show each week, not only here in the Twin Cities of Minnesota, but also throughout the country. You can find podcasts for all of our radio shows on the AM 950 radio website, and we can also be found on your favorite streaming service, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and many others. You can also watch our broadcast live on the radio station's Facebook page at AM 950 Radio, or dial us up on YouTube. If you have a question for us today, there's two ways to reach us. First, by calling the AM 950 radio station, and our friendly show engineer, Tom, will get your call on the air. Our phone number is 952-946-6205, or you can directly text us your question at 612-999-3426. Now, don't worry. If you missed our contact numbers, I'll repeat them throughout the show. All right. I want to welcome my guest for today, Jenny Matthews, a licensed mental health therapist and owner of State of Mind Therapy in the Twin Cities. Welcome to the show, Jenny.
Hey, thanks, Ken. I appreciate it. Excited to be here.
Oh, this is great. Well, first of all, I'm so curious. How did you come up with the name State of Mind Therapy? That is a great name.
Well, thank you. Kind of funny. I have to give a shout out to my good friend Tara from high school who helped me because I know that I really wanted something that represented Minnesota. And so state, I really liked incorporating the state into our logo, and I remember having a cup of Caribou coffee, and they had the coolest little designs all over, and it said State of Coffee, and there was the shape of Minnesota around it. And she goes, "What about State of Mind?" And I was like, "I love it."
That's it.
Yep.
Yeah. When you hear it and you know it, it's like it's always been there. You just needed to find it.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And just so people can follow along here, I always give out the website right away. And so the website is stateofmindtherapy.com. Okay, fantastic. All right. So before we get into this amazing topic, the audience loves to find out about you.
Yeah.
Just your background. Just give us as little or as much as you want on your
Sure.
background and kind of what inspired you to do what you're doing now.
Yeah. Well, it's been such a journey. I mean, back to just, deciding that I wanted to help people in this way. I mean, just came from, going, all right, what are things I'm good at? What do other people think I'm good at? And I really enjoyed, talking to other people when they were struggling, and people seem to always want my help or advice. And so I thought, well, that sounds kind of cool. I want to do that. So of course I go to school to do that. And, I first started out actually working in chemical dependency counseling. That was my first path because you could actually do that right out of an undergraduate degree, which is unusual. You can't usually become a licensed, counselor that early, but that was the only path. And I remember there was a professor who said, I would recommend that route to kind of get started, because I knew I'd have to go to grad school to pursue a master's. But when she said that, I was like, okay, yeah, I want to get experience before I have to get my master's, so let's do this. So I was able to start working there, and then once I got through grad school and started working in the field, I got to work in lots of different areas with lots of different concerns and struggles people were having. And I'll just never forget the client who really inspired me to really want to go down this path of like not owning my own business per se,
Right.
but actually doing the work within phobias and OCD and anxieties. A teenager who was struggling so much with panic disorder and agoraphobia. She had a panic attack when she was I'm trying to remember where she was, but it was somewhere in a public setting, and it started limiting her life so much she couldn't go attend concerts. That was her favorite thing to do, and it just turned her life upside down.
Right.
And I didn't know what I was doing as a therapist. I had never seen panic disorder or agoraphobia, and so, but of course, as a motivated young
Right.
therapist, I was like, well, let me find a book, and there was a clinician manual to take somebody through the steps, and it helped guide somebody through what we call exposure therapy. And so we're helping somebody face their fear of panic, and it was nice because it was very step by step, which is perfect for a little beginner at the
Right.
time. And I helped her get better, and she got better really quickly. And she had this goal in mind to get back to this big concert, and she did it. And I remember feeling like so elated to have helped somebody and see that in a short time, because typically my experience was, talking with people and helping and being supportive, but I never really saw like some big transformation, at least so quickly. And so that was really inspiring. And I was like, where can I get more training on how to do exposure therapy? Because this is really cool. And then it really just all went from there, because I found the training, and it was through an OCD program, or OCD Foundation, and then that's just kind of where it started. So now that's a lot of the work that I do is exposure-based work
Okay.
for people who are really limited in their life because of a phobia or OCD or
Yeah.
other anxiety.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like there's a vast amount of people that struggle with fear and different phobias. In fact, that you had mentioned to me before the show, was it 1 in 4 people have a fear of something?
Well, we were talking about fear of flying.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure what it is kind of more generally, a fear of something, but
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people have some type of big fear that holds them back from something, and it can be something that doesn't impact their life, in a great way, but
Right.
like public speaking could be one. And so it's maybe they're able to function pretty well, but it's going to limit them in some ways.
Yeah. We were talking before the show. There's a lot of phobias. You said one, fear of public speaking, but there's fear of snakes and spiders and
Right.
closed spaces. There's just a number. It's quite quite extensive of all the different fears people have. Is there some type of a common thread to how people get a fear of something?
Yeah. Great question. Well, there's a lot of things. I mean, we never know for sure, but there's a lot of factors like hereditary, mental health, fears, phobias, mental health disorders are hereditary. So it can be something that's, a trait that you've inherited.
Oh, Okay, hold on a second. So
Yeah.
nature versus nurture.
Yeah.
When you say hereditary, is it somewhat genetic, or is it more that's how their family operated within this fear? Okay.
It can be both, right? You
Yeah.
can carry the gene, but then it can be, right, if you were modeled it or if some other stressor occurred, that can then help that gene get expressed. So we don't know for sure, but there's a lot of factors. So the more factors you have around, right, whether it was something you were taught or you had a lot of stressors or you had the genetic component, all of those make a big difference, whether you're going to develop that phobia.
Okay. All right. Well, our first segment here is done. We'll be right back to talk to Jenny about more about fear of flying. So hang with us, folks. We'll be back with a short break. Jenny Matthews is here, a licensed mental health therapist and owner of State of Mind Therapy in the Twin Cities. If you have a question for us, please feel free to give us a call. This is a great chance to talk to a therapist for no charge. Or you can text us. If you have a fear of talking on the radio, you can just text us anonymously at so the call-in number is 952-946-6205, or you can text us at 612-999-3426. I'm Ken Hageland, and you are listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well.
Peace of mind shouldn't cost a fortune. We keep things simple at Schroman Law because we believe planning for your estate and end-of-life care shouldn't be stressful or expensive. Every client relationship starts with a free consultation so clients have the information they need before making important decisions. From there, we work closely with clients to ensure they are choosing the most efficient and cost-effective plans for their specific needs. Schedule a free consultation today at schromenlaw.com. That's SCHROMEN law.com.
Hey Francois, look at all these beautiful bouquets.
Salut Laura, ils sont pour la fête des mères. Et regarde aussi les coffrets tropicales spéciales.
Oh, they are special Mother Day macaroons from Nicolette's.
En toutes les saveurs tropicales.
Oh, the tropical flavors, raspberry mango, strawberry hibiscus, pina colada, and so many more. So how would one go about ordering these for a certain mother?
Sur nicolasmacaron.com.
nicolasmacaroons.com, free shipping?
Oui, oui.
Oh, I'll text my kids the website right now, nicolasmacaroons.com.
This is Chad, owner of AM 950. Our station is located on a marsh, and we do our best not to disturb that environment. So I was thrilled to discover Natural Lawn. Their safer products and soil tests ensure that your lawn will be healthy, lush, and green. I don't even have to worry about bringing my furry friend to the station, thanks to the great care from Natural Lawn. I highly recommend Natural Lawn to keep your lawn beautiful, healthy, without compromising safety and sustainability. More at naturalawn.com.
Hi, this is Frank Brown of Minuteman Press Uptown with a question for our listeners. How important are business values to you? When you need high-quality digital print, it matters who you work with. You see, Minuteman Uptown is unique. We're one of the only union print shops in Minnesota providing our team with living wages and benefits. We believe in second chances for justice-impacted individuals who want to contribute to the community, and we are active in local issues. We've been in the streets standing up for racial, social, and economic justice. At Minuteman Uptown, our mission is to connect all communities through technology-driven print solutions. An example of that mission is when I moved Minuteman Uptown to North Minneapolis. We're invested in this local community, and we help small businesses and local organizations throughout the Twin Cities reach their audiences. Reach out to Minuteman Uptown and partner with a printer that shares your values. Call us today at 612-870-0777 or visit us at mpuptown.com. That's mpuptown.com.
There really is no place like home. Hi, I'm Mary T. of Mary T. Home Health. When you're faced with an illness or an injury, being able to stay at home and receive care is important. Our home health offers a wide range of services, including skilled nursing, physical, occupational, and speech therapies, aides, homemakers, in-home respite care, and 24/7 live-in care. We'll work closely with your primary care provider to come up with an individualized plan for you. Learn more today at marytinc.com.
All right, welcome back, everybody. You are listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well, where we talk about helping you and your loved ones improve and enjoy your quality of life. My name is Ken Hageland, and joining me today is Jenny Matthews, a licensed mental health therapist and owner of State of Mind Therapy, located here in the Twin Cities of Minnesota. And she is sharing today how a fear of flying can limit opportunities for travel, connection, and meaningful life experiences. Jenny, how can our listeners contact you and your organization if they have questions or want more information?
Yeah, so our website's a great place to start. That's stateofmindtherapy.com. People can sign up for a free 15-minute phone consultation with us if they're curious about working with us. That's kind of our best way to just kind of test the water, see if we're a good fit together, and answer any questions that they have.
Well, fantastic. And we've had one of your colleagues on, Brian Piat, right?
Piat,
yeah. And he was fantastic. That was last year when we had him on. And he said, Ken, you got to get Jenny on because she specializes in some of these areas. And so I'm just so grateful to have you on the show today. Okay, so let's talk about the fear of flying. Again, an area that you tend to specialize in for your clients. And, well, let's just talk about what that program looks like.
Yeah. So I don't know if a lot of people know this, but at the Minneapolis-St. Paul Airport, we have access to what they call a trainer plane. It is a retired body of an airplane that's like within a class, like kind of behind. You wouldn't see it if you're just walking through the terminal. It's, behind a door, like kind of in a private room. And we take groups of people in there for a fear of flying class. Every other month is right now when we're hosting those. And so they get to sit in an airplane, and we do all of our teaching in there. It's like the coolest classroom.
Wow. Is it by one of the gates in the airport? Do you have to go through security to get there?
You do have to go through security.
Oh, okay. Yep. All right. So if you have a fear of security, then that may inhibit your ability to get to the class there.
Right.
But, okay, so I've been at the airport many, many times. So which gate is it by then?
It's in gate C, or Concourse C.
Concourse
so
C.
between like 15, 16, if you're
Oh,
super
interesting.
familiar.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you'd walk by and not even know.
You would never know it.
Because it's just a door.
There's just a door. There's no sign, nothing.
Wow.
You have to have a private tour.
Yes. Okay. All right. There's a lot of questions I have.
Okay.
But no, I'm just curious, how do they get through security then?
Yes.
Do you give them a pass or an authorization or something?
Exactly. So, when people register with us, we then get their information to get a security pass for the day.
Wow.
And so it's a really neat opportunity because you don't get an opportunity to just go into an airport through past security without a plane ticket. And so for a lot of people who are afraid to fly, right, they know that, like, all right, my only opportunity to do this is if I actually book a trip, and I'm just maybe not ready to do that, or I'm afraid, and I want some other opportunities to work on this. And so it's a really cool way to give people that opportunity to be there, practice all the things you need to practice, and learn some things and connect with other people who are going through it too.
I think that's one of the common themes that over the years of doing these interviews is people think that they're the only one that has this. It could be anything. I'm the only one that has cancer. I'm the only one that has this or that. And it's that's one of the reasons why we do this show, is to let people know, oh my gosh, you're one of millions of people that have this. So don't let isolation prevent you from trying to find a solution or trying to move forward with whatever it is you've got.
Totally. That is probably like the number one thing we hear from people who come to our program, is that they come, and we hold 25 people as our cap that we allow in per time. And so people come in, and even just last time we held our workshop, we had somebody tell us at the end, like she said, when I walked in and saw there's 20-some people here, I almost was brought to tears because, they think that they're the only ones. And we get compliments on that part of it because, it's not even anything we have to do, right? They're just showing up and they just feel supported that way.
Yeah.
So it's really a really cool thing and an honor to experience and facilitate.
Yeah. So you've got, it literally is the fuselage of a cabin, and they've got the seat belts and everything. Do they have the lights that work where, fasten your seat belt or call lights or any how realistic is it from that standpoint?
Great question. I wish it did all those things. Unfortunately, yeah, they're just seated. There's no cockpit with all the extra bells and whistles. I know people are always like, it'd be so cool if this thing could like shake and like, do all that.
And shake.
Yeah, we wish it too. Trust me, I would be thrilled.
That's the advanced course.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Okay, so how long would a person? How long is your session then?
Yeah.
When you've got people into this kind of mocked up airplane. Mm-hmm. What do people expect in terms of the session?
Yeah. So once we get into the plane, we're there for an hour and a half. Mm-hmm. And so during that time, Justin's my husband, by the way, who's in this. I've got to share a little bit about him because he's such a huge part of it. He had his first career in aviation. He learned how to fly airplanes, before he even got his driver's license. Wow. And then he was in the Air Force and worked in many different roles within the airline industry. And so he's got this really rich background in aviation, but then had a career change and decided he wanted to be a therapist. And so part of his passion is, integrating both of those pieces of providing the aviation knowledge that people need and also the therapy side of pieces around how to actually treat anxiety and phobias. So we do it together.
Okay.
So when we're there, we guide people through some education, we guide them through some skills, and then we open up a conversation where they can just ask us questions. So it's very, just very open in that way where people can ask us their specific, there's so many different nuanced questions that people have around flying. And so we like to give them some structured teaching, but we like to give people the opportunity to just ask away.
So, so you guys will co-host a session, and it's about 90 minutes, and it's something that people can register through
our website.
Your website, okay. And you hold them once every other month, it sounds like?
Yep.
Okay, okay. And, so they're literally sitting in airline seats.
Correct.
So that's really such a unique. Normally, instead of going to sit down with you in your office,
right,
or lay on a couch or whatever people do in therapy these days, you're actually sitting in the environment that you're afraid of.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was really cool. We talked to somebody who went through our last one, and he had said that he had been in therapy for a while and made some good progress, but it was like the icing on the cake to then have come to our program because for that same reason, he's like, I just couldn't face that anxiety just sitting in my therapist's office. I really needed that experience. Not that he needed it, but he didn't even know it existed or that he could. Right. And so he was like, it was really life-changing for him to be able to practice that and then get on a flight. And he said he was able to do it without medication for the first time in 12 years. And he was so thrilled for that. And I just love hearing those kind of stories. Yeah,
I wonder, a lot of people medicate, I'm assuming, before they get on a flight, if they have to get on a flight. I remember a football coach and announcer, John Madden, who hated flying. So he had a bus, and he drove all over the country in a bus to avoid flying. But anyway, all right. It's time for a short break.
Okay.
We'll be right back to continue our conversation with Jenny Matthews, a licensed mental health therapist and owner of State of Mind Therapy, located here in the Twin Cities of Minnesota. And she is sharing how a fear of flying can limit opportunities for travel, connection, and meaningful life experiences. If you have a question for us, please give us a call, 952-946-6205, or text us at 612-999-3426. I'm Ken Hageland, and you're listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well.
Hi, this is Chad from AM 950. I've been telling you about Snap Construction, the company AM 950 trusts for all roofing and siding needs. Now that spring is here and summer is around the corner, now is a great time to find out why AM 950 trusts Snap Construction. Ryan, the owner, and his team at Snap Construction have been great to work with, and they have enjoyed working with our listeners.
Hi, this is Ryan, owner of Snap Construction. We've absolutely loved working with the listeners at AM 950. What a great group of people and a great radio station. I personally want to thank all the listeners that we've had the opportunity to work with. At Snap Construction, we look forward to working with many more of you when it comes to your roofing, siding, windows, and insulation. Don't just take Chad's word for it. Google Snap Construction, arguably the most well-reviewed roofing, siding, window, and insulation contractor in the Twin Cities metro. We led this community with a lifetime craftsmanship warranty. Don't wait to get a free estimate. Call today, 612-333-SNAP, 612-333-SNAP, or visit us online, snapconstruction.com.
Hey, it's Tom Hartman, and here's a thought I keep coming back to. Your utility company raised its rates last year. It'll raise them next year and the year after that. And you have no vote, no say, and no alternative, unless you generate your own power. That's what solar makes possible for your home and your business. All Energy Solar has been helping homeowners and commercial operators take back control of their energy since 2009. They design every system specifically for you, your property, your usage, your goals. No cookie-cutter solutions, no pressure, just honest answers and expert work. Minnesota homeowners also benefit from sales tax, property tax exemptions, and some local incentives, depending on where you live. And commercial customers can still get access to the 30% federal investment tax credit through 2027. But you have to act soon. The sun shows up every day and asks nothing in return. All Energy Solar helps you capture it. Visit allenergysolar.com or call 800-620-3370 for your free evaluation today.
Hey, it's Patrick. It's May, and you may have fallen behind on your spring cleaning without even realizing it. But that's no problem because my cleaning heroes at Zero Res are here to help. Don't look now, but all those summertime activities are closing in fast. You might be having a graduation party at your house, or maybe a Memorial Day weekend barbecue, and you want your house to look top-notch for those friends and family coming to visit. Zero Res can take care of any service in your home, from carpet, tile, rugs, upholstery, hardwood, grout, and more. So don't put off spring cleaning any longer, and don't miss this deal. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $139 plus a $599 whole system air duct cleaning. Call 952-ZERO-RES or go to ZeroResMinnesota.com and say you want the AM 950 special. Backward or forward spells the same. Zero Res.
From the AM 950 Weather Center, I'm Tom Winston. Today, a sunny, clear day with a high 61 degrees. Tonight, clear, low 39. And for tomorrow, partly cloudy, high 59. Step into the magic of Wizard of Oz at the Children's Theater Company now through June 14th, featuring the beloved songs from the classic film, breathtaking stage magic, and a real dog as Toto. Get your tickets today at childrenstheater.org.
AM 950 KTNF, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Welcome back, everyone. You are listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well, where we talk about helping you and your loved ones improve and enjoy your quality of life. My name is Ken Hageland, and joining me today is Jenny Matthews, a licensed mental health therapist and owner of State of Mind Therapy located here in the Twin Cities, and she is sharing how a fear of flying can limit opportunities for travel, connection, and meaningful life experiences. And we're going to continue our conversation here. But before we do, I want to mention this radio show is brought to you in part each week by Minnesota Hospice. Minnesota Hospice is an independent, locally owned medical practice serving our Twin Cities communities with comprehensive end-of-life health care. The team at Minnesota Hospice provides patients and family members with award-winning end-of-life health care services. You may not be aware that hospice brings compassionate medical, social, emotional, and spiritual services to your home with typically no cost to you or your family. Please do not wait to find out how hospice care can benefit you and your loved ones. If you have any questions regarding end-of-life care or support, please contact the compassionate team of experts at Minnesota Hospice. They are available to answer your questions 24 hours a day, 7 days a week by a registered nurse. Their phone number is 952-898-1022. Once again, 952-898-1022, or visit them online at minnesotahospice.com. All right, let's return to our conversation with Jenny. If you have a question for us, please call us 952-946-6205 or text us at 612-999-3426. Jenny, how can our listeners contact you guys if they have questions or want more information?
stateofmindtherapy.com would be the easiest way. You can schedule a free phone consultation with us right there on our website. That's usually the quickest way.
Yeah, but what a great opportunity just to call, check in, like say 15 minutes, just to share what their concerns are and see if that's a good fit.
Yeah.
It's so interesting talking to you that you've had clients that were working with somebody else and didn't have access to the real live, the experience that you guys have with the Fear of Flying workshop that we'll continue to talk more about here, to really help get a person. It sounds like a very, as you have mentioned, the exposure therapy can be very beneficial for people that maybe are struggling to get over some type of phobia. I wanted to mention before we go on and talk more about your workshop is the difference of a phobia versus like anxiety. I think maybe the word phobia is used a lot and may not be used correctly or accurately.
Yeah. Well, anxiety is something that we all experience, right? I mean, just being here on this show, I've got some anxiety, right? My heart is beating. I'm feeling a little warmer than usual. Of course, my heart's beating, but it's going faster than usual, right? I might not be thinking clearly, like all of these things. So we all experience anxiety symptoms. And so that's not necessarily problematic. We need anxiety actually for our survival, right? We have a fight or flight response that's built into us, and it's necessary. And it's a great way of alerting us to danger. The problem with anxiety disorders, such as a phobia, is when we are experiencing that in situations where we're not actually at risk of danger. We don't need that fight or flight response to be kicking in, but we might mistake that, right, those symptoms as actual risk, and then it starts to interfere with our ability to do the thing. So we might avoid things a lot more, or we might rely on what we call like safety behaviors, or do compulsions, different things to try to get through it. And so it becomes very, it starts to limit people's life quite a bit, because the more that you do those things, you start to feel better. You're like, okay, I don't have that anxiety anymore. But then it's kind of like never enough. And so you need to do that more and more, and it can start to shrink your world, because now it starts to feel like you can't really go out and do anything. And that's obviously on the more severe side of things. A lot of people can live a really great life, but are limited in very specific ways. So, phobias can really interfere with someone living fully, right? Like travel, right? If you've got friends, family out of state,
right,
you can't visit them now because you're afraid to. And so it becomes really limiting for people.
I think in talking to other people over the years, fear has prevented people from doing so many things. It's almost like it just limits your life, your opportunities, your ability to achieve things or to pursue dreams. And it's really sad that fear, as we talked before the show, I see it throughout my career. People just are afraid of this or afraid of that. And I thought to myself, the chances of that, or chances of a bad thing, is so minuscule, but yet they almost like disproportionately put that in their mind. And then, of course, ruminate on it, and it gets even bigger. And so, let's talk more about your workshop.
Yeah.
Just some of the things you talk about at the workshop, some of the questions that people have. I'm sure it's enlightening to you guys to see what are people thinking, what do they bring to the workshop as clients of yours.
Yeah. Well, and just to specify too, people do not have to be clients of ours in our practice to attend the event. It's open to anybody. So they don't have to work with us, in our office one-on-one. It's for anybody. And so when people come, I mean, we usually are walking them through first to how to understand the anxiety cycle and how people actually get stuck in it. And we want people to really understand a little bit about where their fear is coming from and what's perpetuating it, because there is a cycle that keeps it going. And so we have found that if people understand that, it really helps unlock this whole thing for them, because so many people are focused on, how do I stay calm on the plane? Well, you can't. Maybe you can to some degree, but people put in a lot of effort to try to get calm, get rid of my anxiety, not feel it because my anxiety is bad. Yeah. We want to quit telling our brain that anxiety is bad. It's not. And so when people start to learn about what's perpetuating it and then how to stop chasing feeling calm, they actually then start to find that they can allow this anxiety to be there and not react to it as if it's some kind of emergency or something that's dangerous to them. And that's a really key thing that we teach people. And we teach them some skills on how to practice that, of course.
Yeah.
And then, of course, all the aviation-related questions that come up.
Right.
Justin answers as well. So everything from turbulence to takeoff to, safety checks. It's there's quite a number of concerns that people have.
Right. And are they overblown? Are they in people's minds that attend this? Are they thinking the chances of a plane crash has a higher probability than what it actually does? In other words, is logical or facts given to people, does that help them resolve some of that or not?
Yes and no. It kind of depends. So for some people, they don't really know the how safe flying is, and so some education around that makes a big difference. There's other people who have done their research, and they know. And it doesn't matter, right? The fear continues regardless. And that is where we have to help people understand, look, no amount of information and facts here is going to change anything. You have to start working on your relationship to this anxiety, the unknowns, or the fear of the panic, or not being in control all the time. So we, as therapists, that's where I think we have a unique edge then, right? If it was just a pilot teaching this, because we're able to help people who are struggling with some of those deeper pieces beyond just the safety and the facts around flying. Because I don't really know anyone who's come to us and said that I don't know anything about flying or the safety of flying.
Yeah.
They usually say the opposite.
Right.
I know that flying is safe, but I'm terrified anyway. And so we don't spend a ton of time on the safety piece.
Yeah. Okay. So logic isn't it's not a logical issue necessarily. Okay.
Right. Now, some logic is helpful, but I mean, Justin, says all the time, we all drive our cars every day, and most of us don't have this super in-depth knowledge of all the mechanics in and out of, this and our history of our cars, all of that, because we grow to just trust it, with other things.
Well, so tens of thousands of people die every year driving their cars.
Right.
I mean, that's one of the highest fatality issues that people engage in every day without even realizing it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Okay. So do you have tips or tricks then that you share in the workshop to help people then manage themselves through that anxiety or through that uncomfortable feeling that they have when they get in a plane?
Yeah, I mean, we don't like to necessarily call it tips and tricks in the sense that there's some quick little tip that you just haven't uncovered yet, because it's usually about a longer history with responding to anxious sensations and unknowns and all of this. So, but we do help people learn about how do you start to accept these unknowns and these uncomfortable feelings in a way. So we'll give them some acceptance statements, for example, no, actually one of my favorite ones is no amount of worry is going to keep this plane in the air. And such a helpful just reminder for ourselves that I can worry, right? I can, as I'm looking on the plane, when I used to struggle with flying a lot, I'd be gripping the armrest, I'm looking around, I'm making sure, okay, do the flight attendants look worried? Okay, no, they're not worried. I don't have to be worried, right? So I'm worrying and I'm trying to seek reassurance all over the place, but no amount of me doing anything is going to change anything. So let go. Stop trying to control it. And that was really helpful in my own journey. And so we'll give people strategies around that of how do you start to shift your thinking towards control, and lean towards acceptance and not be so afraid of the anxiety. And then, of course, how to be okay with the physical symptoms of the anxiety, because that also goes with your mind.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, so that's just fascinating. The fact that people will start to feel these things, and that can accentuate their fears.
Right.
And then you're saying, no, everyone has those. It's a natural response.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. So you were a white knuckle flyer
I sure was.
For a while. So how and so how did you overcome it?
Yeah. Well, I feel like accidentally because I was afraid of flying during the time when I was just learning to become a therapist. And it's not like there was any specialized training I got in phobias at that time. I didn't know much. So I'm doing my own. I kept flying, but I was white knuckling it, and I was doing all the things that I think you learn about, right? Like do some relaxation and deep breathing and doing all these things. But I was finding that was taking so much effort because I was trying to force myself to be calm, like do all these exercises to like get rid of this anxiety and I'll feel better on the plane. Well, it didn't really work. I shouldn't say not completely. It helped me enough, right, to keep flying, but it was still pretty miserable. It wasn't until I kind of learned through specializing more in phobias and treatment that the more that you're actually trying to get rid of anxiety, actually the more you're going to struggle with it. And so started learning around this idea of acceptance and like looking forward to that anxiety and wanting that anxiety because it means you're getting on the other side of it and not misinterpreting what that means. Did I start being like, all right, I can just let this be here. I don't have to do anything about it. And it's a lot easier. So kind of happened accidentally.
That's interesting. Yeah, looking forward to that feeling. But that makes sense, though.
Yes.
All right. Folks, it's time for a short break. We'll be right back to continue our conversation with Jenny Matthews, a licensed mental health therapist and owner of State of Mind Therapy here in the Twin Cities. And she is sharing how a fear of flying can limit opportunities for travel, connection, and meaningful life experiences. If you have a question for Jenny, please give us a call, 952-946-6205, or text us at 612-999-3426. I'm Ken Hageland, and you are listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well.
Hi, I'm Mary T. Caring for others runs deep in my family. My grandmother, Rosa, was a nurse who cared for people in their homes more than a century ago. Inspired by her compassion, my mother, Margaret, and I founded the Mary T. family of companies nearly 50 years ago. Today, we continue that legacy across Minnesota, Wisconsin, Maryland, and Arizona, providing senior living, assisted living with memory care, home health, hospice care, rental housing, and support for people with disabilities. Each service is personal, creative, and focuses on the unique needs of those we serve. We also believe in joy and community, which is why we opened Crooner Supper Club in Fridley, a place to celebrate life with music, laughter, and connection. At Mary T., we're proud to be a Minnesota family company rooted in compassion, inclusion, and respect. And proud supporters of AM 950 and the values that this station represents. Visit MaryTinc.com to learn more.
Congratulations to Mary T., named one of the most admired CEOs of 2026 by the Minneapolis-St. Paul Business Journal.
Greg Bakken here. I've told you about the out-of-the-world roast beef sandwiches at Maverick's Real Roast Beef, but I haven't told you about their Philly steak sandwiches, turkey bacon avocado sandwich, BLT, crispy chicken, fish sandwiches, brisket, or pulled pork. Okay, you get the idea. They make a lot of delicious food to the same standard as their famous roast beef sandwiches, and now I'm starving. I'm going to go to Maverick's Real Roast Beef off Lexington and Roseville, and you need to go too. Check out their menu at mavericksbeef.com.
10,000 Things Theater brings their signature style for an encore production of a Frank Lesser show that is not done nearly often enough. The Most Happy Fella. This is the story of a waitress who finds a note and begins a letter-writing relationship that leads to... Well, I can't tell you that. Come see it. Starring Sasha Andreev, Nora Long, Susie Jewell, and Pedro Arbeon. Public performances begin May 14th at Open Book on Washington Avenue in Minneapolis. Get your tickets and see the performance schedule at 10,000things.org.
Art-A-Whirl is celebrating its 31st year. This popular free event is the largest open studio tour in the nation, a fan favorite with art lovers, families, and fun seekers alike. With 1,400 artists in 100 locations throughout Northeast Minneapolis, you'll meet potters, painters, weavers, woodworkers, and more. And you'll find all types of art at all price levels. Then there are the terrific bars, restaurants, and breweries in Northeast, plus music, entertainment, and art demos. With Art-A-Whirl, you're set for 3 days of wonder. Start planning now. Art-A-Whirl is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, May 15th, 16th, and 17th. Visit NEMA.org. That's NEMAA.org for details. You'll find an artist directory, maps, dining and brew guides, event and music schedules, even info on free Metro Transit passes and free trolley service on a loop through the Arts District. That's May 15th through the 17th in Northeast Minneapolis. Join the fun!
All right, welcome back, everyone. You are listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well, where we talk about helping you and your loved ones improve and enjoy your quality of life. My name is Ken Hageland, and joining me today is Jenny Matthews, a licensed mental health therapist and owner of State of Mind Therapy, located here in the Twin Cities. And she is sharing how a fear of flying can limit opportunities for travel, connection, and meaningful life experiences. And she also had a fear of flying. Mm-hmm. And so I just love talking to people who've overcome something that I'm trying to get help with.
Yes.
I feel like there's a connection there.
Yes.
If you have a question for us, please give us a call, 952-946-6205, or text us at 612-999-3426. And Jenny, how can our listeners contact you if they have questions or want more information, especially on those workshops?
Yeah. stateofmindtherapy.com will give you pretty much all the info you need. You can sign up for the workshop right there if you want to. If you want to work with us one-on-one, you can schedule a free phone consultation as well with myself or our other two therapists, just to see if we're a good fit to work together.
Right. So you go to stateofmindtherapy.com, and there's a services tab, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then you'd go into the Fearful Flyers menu. And then down at the bottom there, you can look at, there it is, in-person event, navigating flight anxiety at MSP International Airport.
Yeah.
Just the words MSP International Airport probably gets people nervous. But again, you hit the button, enroll now, and so that closes here in the next week.
Yeah.
So if people are interested, they should get that. And what is the cost to do that?
Yeah, so the next workshop is on Saturday, May 16th.
Okay.
And so on this coming Wednesday, it will be the last day people can register.
Okay.
It's $115 to attend. Sometimes people bring a family member.
I was going to say, bring somebody with you.
Yeah, to kind of, a lot of times family members want to know how they can support their loved one, or sometimes people are just very nervous to fly alone too, so just having a companion with them is assuring as well. And so,
yeah, that's great. And then again, when you enroll, you'll get some type of something that allows you to get through security.
Yep.
And get to the workshop, which is actually in the fuselage of a plane, a real life plane.
Yeah.
Okay, that's located at Concourse C.
That's right.
Now that if ever I walk by there, I'll have to look for that unmarked door.
Unmarked mystery door.
Mystery door.
Yeah, when people, and just so people aren't feeling like, okay, I'm going to have to figure out which, concourse how to get us. We all meet at a location right when we walk in. When we go, the airport's so lovely to us. The TSA guides us through the whole thing. They come and do a little talk for us, and then they guide us through, they let us go through the first class line. Okay. So it's very guided. Nobody has to go through security being like, oh my gosh, how do I find this class? No. We go as a group together. Through the security line and show them to that mystery door.
No, I'm glad you mentioned that. Just because the airport's big, and
it's
sometimes
huge.
People get nervous in just big spaces, and a lot of people are there at times. So
if you haven't flown in 20 years, you're going to feel overwhelmed by that. So.
Right. And what time of day is that held at?
Yeah, so we start at we ask people to get there at 9:30 because then our class starts at 10. So we have to, of course, go through the security and all. So we need a little time to do that.
Okay, fantastic. I was just curious, does one phobia potentially have other phobias that a person is struggling with, or is it kind of just an exclusive situation?
Yeah, great question. So somebody could have just a specific fear of flying. Aviophobia is what it would be considered in the DSM. But a lot of the people that we work with have other anxiety disorders that they are dealing with, and fear of being in an airplane is just one of the situations that's hard for them because of that disorder. Panic disorder, for instance, somebody who's afraid to have a panic attack and not be able to then escape or get help. And so if you can imagine that if someone has that fear that they could have a panic attack anywhere, they don't want to go very far from home and away from their safe place. And especially if you're in an airplane, you're like, I don't know if there's, how am I going to get medical attention? Sometimes is their fear. And so that can show up there. If people have fears around being enclosed, that kind of more of a claustrophobia piece, that's also, a place where flying is a place where then that gets really challenging. Yeah. So a lot of different disorders can then have kind of a fear of flying intertwined with it.
Yeah. And you had mentioned that the fear of a plane crash is not the highest reason why people have a fear of flying.
Yeah.
Yeah, just reinforce that with us again. So what is it that people fear when they think about flying?
Yeah, so we always ask people when they attend our workshop, how many here are afraid of the plane crashing, how many are afraid of something else, and it's usually a 50-50 of, people who have fears around something happening to the plane itself and then them dying, but a lot of other people are not afraid of that at all, and they're afraid of, again, the doors are going to be closed. I'm going to be in this tube up in the air for years.
It may feel like it.
It might feel like it, exactly. For hours, and I can't get out if I want to. So they start to imagine their anxiety being very escalated and wanting to leave and not being able to. Right? You can't just ask a pilot, can you stop at the next cloud here? I'd like to get out.
Like a bus. Yeah.
Right. You can't just do that. So it really... It can prevent people in that way. But people have a fear of heights as well. Yeah. And so being high up can be another one. But so it can be expressed in so many different ways.
Wow. We only have a minute left here. So I want to make sure we reinforce to people that, or if they know somebody, what a great way to just do something different from being in an office and sitting on a couch or a chair and talking this through. Actually, being apart with other people to show that a lot of people have this.
Yeah.
I think that's such a great thing. So I just want to remind people, they go to stateofmindtherapy.com and go under services and
even on the front, or even the very top of the website, there's just a link right there to
there's a link right there, just right. And again, it's very inexpensive. You get a chance to really sit down with people like you and your husband that do this all the time for people. And if you had success with people saying, hey, this really helped me, I was able to take that vacation or able to go with the destination I wanted to go to?
We do, yeah. Not everybody, because for some people this is their first baby step, and then we have others who are a little bit further, and they're like, I already got a trip booked and I'm ready. So everyone comes in different places, but we're thrilled when people reach back out and say, hey, I did it. Thank you so much. We hear it all the time, and it's the best feedback we could get.
Isn't that rewarding?
It's so rewarding.
All right. We're at the end of the show, folks. I want to thank Jenny Matthews, a licensed mental health therapist and owner of State of Mind Therapy in the Twin Cities, for talking to us about the fear of flying and how it can limit opportunities for travel, connection, and meaningful life experiences. If you have a question, reach out to them, stateofmindtherapy.com. We hope you enjoyed today's show. Please contact us with any questions you have regarding today's conversation. You can reach us anytime by voice or text at 612-999-3426. Join us again next Saturday at noon for another broadcast. And thank you for listening to Living Healthy and Aging Well, where we talked about your health, your life. Until next time, choose to live well.
And I've been waiting such a